Hi, I'm John Mallis. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this day. Glad you're here. It's a Tuesday morning, the day after Memorial Day. That's right. Hope you're ready and strapped in. Today we've got a business segment, and it's about a business owner who's been in the news at least the last month or so. 436 Me TV option 11. Sam Suits and Tuxedos is your sponsor today.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
All right, back here on the program on a Tuesday morning. Glad you're here. Hope your holiday weekend was a good one. Back here on Connect with Me on Me TV Fresno Live. Yesterday we had a tape program. Today it is a live broadcast. You can call in at 436 Me TV option 11. And first off, just want to get a quick programming note out of the way, and that is for tomorrow. Jack Scow, the trainer, is going to be in tomorrow to show us how to continue to build muscle even as you age, as you progress into your 50s, your 60s, your 70s. It's ever so important to keep that muscle mass going because, as you know, as you get older, you lose muscle. Then on Thursday, a man is going to be in here. He wrote a book about his life of crime. And his entire life he spent robbing banks and, he's basically a thief. And he wrote a book about his lifestyle and how he has come clean and now he has found the Lord, my friends. And then we're going to try to get you well on Friday with another different guest, and should be a very interesting week here on Connect with Me. You're watching us live on Comcast, channel 375 as usual. Monday through Friday, it's a call-in program, 10 to 11 o'clock in the morning. If you don't have Comcast cable, not to worry. It's 43.6 and 13.1 over-the-air broadcast with one of those digital TV antennas that you can purchase right here at Ventura TV. Replay comes up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 13.6 YouTube, 8 o'clock tonight, 4.6 Biz TV, and after that, we're on YouTube. Well, within the last month or so, you may have noticed a big controversy, of course, with one business owner. And today's program has to do with maybe, I guess you could look at it two ways, depending on your political point of view, right? Because it's half and half. I mean, this could be part talk about race, could be part talk about a personal connection between an owner and his employees and an owner and his customers. And maybe he was just simply making an observation. You might recall last month in March, or actually it was, not 2 months ago now, in March, a business owner by the name of Steve Wayte, he owns a restaurant in Fresno called Roll One for Me, made some kind of comments on Facebook regarding Hispanics and how they don't tip at his restaurant. It created a firestorm, including with former Fresno County Supervisor and mayoral candidate Henry Perea. He got some backlash on Facebook. He got some backlash on Twitter. He had to hire some security guards. As a result, he took down his Facebook and Twitter account for a while. Not sure if it's back up. We'll ask him we'll ask him later today. As it was reported on some of the local news stations, here's what happened 2 months ago.
Tonight, a Fresno restaurant owner is left responding to controversial remarks he made on Facebook targeting Hispanics. Saturday, the Roll One for Me owner, Steve Wayte, posted this comment saying that his servers are ready to build a wall around his restaurant because Hispanics never tip. Now, the post drew criticism from thousands online, including former Fresno County Supervisor and mayoral candidate Henry Perea, who called for the community to, in turn, build an economic wall around the establishment. Today, Wayte answered to the comments, saying it was meant to be a joke and meant nothing by it.
This is a hard business to be in anyway, and my servers rely on their tips. And so I was defending my staff more than impugning Hispanics. I didn't say all. I hate generalizations. I hate that stuff. But they just all happen to be that night.
Wayte later apologized for his comments and says he will be more aware of the comments he makes on Facebook.
Live in our studio right now is the owner of Roll One For Me. He is Steve Wayte. He's a local businessman. You know, we're not only going to talk about this, we'll talk a little bit about, obviously, his business. It is a restaurant. It's a sushi bar. If you've never been there, maybe check it out. Make sure and leave a tip, though, if you do go over there. 436-ME-TV, option 11. You know, these restaurant people, they work hard and they deserve a tip. There's no question about it. So, in your opinion, was this just an off-the-cuff observation as to what is going on, or was it racially motivated? Like I said in the beginning, it depends on your political stance and your point of view at this stage of the game. 436-ME-TV, option 11. We're back in just a moment.
And away we go.
Here's a place that makes you smile. Stick around and stay a while. We're the home of great TV. That's memorable. That's me.
Follow me, sir.
Call them classics, call them the best. Call them favorites, be our guest. Every day there's more to come. Watch and see, there's only one. Me TV.
All you have to do is watch me.
Are you kidding me?
Follow me.
That's memorable. That's me.
That's me.
Me TV.
There's nothing better than showing up to your next big event in a new suit or tuxedo. Sam's Men's Suits and Tuxedo Shop on Clovis Avenue, just south of Old Town Clovis, has provided a wide selection of custom-tailored fine suits and accessories for over 25 years. Right now, get 2 suits, 2 shirts, 2 ties, and a pair of shoes for only $199. Act now and get a third suit for only $50 more. Stop by or call 559-298-6063 to schedule your fitting today at Sam's Men's Suits and Tuxedo Shop.
Yes, my friends, when you walk into a restaurant, do you usually tip? Is it 15%? Is it 10%? Do you just walk out and not give a tip at all? Steve Wayte is here, the owner of Roll One For Me. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, John.
Welcome to the program.
Thanks for
a little
having
bit
me.
of controversy this Tuesday morning. It's still kind of lingering, isn't it? A little bit.
It's calmed
hair.
down. It's really unfortunate the way it worked out. It was an off the cuff joke, and by me tying Hispanic and a Trump wall together, I was deemed a racist. I find it ironic that a white guy running a sushi restaurant with all ethnicities working for him would be called a racist, but you know, that's the world we live in now. It's hypersensitive on both sides.
It is.
And you know, I'm a libertarian, so I love everybody and hate everybody equally. And I'm an individualist, so I really don't like to identify people as far as in groups. But that night, it was actually the largest night we'd ever had in the history of the business.
Really?
And so I was congratulating my staff on you know, to do the number we did in a small restaurant like we have. Your servers and your staff have to perform at a high level. And after I had congratulated everybody, my servers let me know that there was 4 separate parties that left 0 tip. It wasn't that there was a bad tip. There was 0 tip whatsoever. And so I took to my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, and Henry Perea and I aren't friends on Facebook, so I don't know how he acquired the information, but someone screenshot it and sent it to him, and he was triggered by that. And my microaggression, you know, caused me a little bit of consternation for a month or so there. But things are back to normal. Business is good. Actually, business was really good that first week after the controversy. But that wasn't my intent. My intent was to have a discussion about courtesy in restaurants in the United States. My wife's British. You do not tip over there whatsoever. But here in the United States, we have a culture of where tipping is preferred, and I have to tax my servers based on their sales, regardless of if they get a tip or not. And so I thought it was a good teachable moment as far as the week after to talk about why are tips taxed? Why as you and me as personal citizens can give each other $10,000 in gifts untaxable on our tax returns, but you can't leave me a $10 bill on the table without the government wanting their share of that. So those are things that I'd rather talk about rather than does a certain group of people tip better than another group of people. It just happened to be that night they just happened to be all Hispanic, and I'm sorry if anyone got offended by it. I don't support a border wall either. It was a joke, and here we are.
Yeah.
So-
Now, just to clarify too, just so for some people that are watching out there. And by the way, 436 MeTV option 11. We do have an open phone line if you want to call in and weigh in on this topic. And so, you know, it created a firestorm, as you say. But just to clear up any kind of controversy right now, just you know, I want you to just tell everybody: are you a racist? Yes. No.
No. And
Okay.
and that's a great thing about calling somebody a racist is how do you defend yourself against it?
Yeah.
You can't. And so this is right
I
out
mean,
of
when somebody calls you out on it.
yes. And what was happening, and the reason I made the comment is that my servers were starting to become prejudiced. But there's a difference between prejudice and racism.
Did Henry Perea call you a
No,
racist?
no.
Okay.
Oh well, no, he did. Well, I believe he said that it was a racist comment. I don't know if he called me a racist per se.
Okay.
I tried not to pay attention to Henry.
Right.
Henry was he needed some headlines. He's not going to be in the news anymore because of his loss in the mayoral election.
Right.
And to tell you the truth, to see that he is that petty. It reassures me of who I supported in the last election.
Yeah. Now, just to be fair, I have reached out to Henry Perea on many occasions. Have left messages on his cell phone. Have reached out to him on Facebook. I'm Facebook friends with him, so I sent him a personal message. I did not get a response. I know he saw the message I sent on Facebook because you can see whether or not somebody read your personal private message. So I sent him the message, but I got no response for him to come on the program even, and if he wants to talk about it. But Henry did come on the program prior to the election. He has not come on since. He has promised me, or had promised me, he would come on after the election, win or lose, and he has not kept his word on that. So he was pretty liberal in lashing out and making comments on Facebook, but yet doesn't want to appear in public like on this program and defend his position. And I'm just curious as to what you're thinking about that.
Well, I don't think it's really a position. I think it was a reaction, and he has every right to be offended. Everyone has a right
Well,
to
this
be
is
offended.
what you
but
said. I mean, my servers are thinking about building a wall around the restaurant. Why don't many Hispanics tip? Really? Zero. Zilch. Nada. And then you went on to explain, I guess later in a post here, I guess this is on Facebook, it's sad when 4 tables left nothing tonight. You can normally pick them out as they won't turn around when you thank them and say good night. Take a quick call here. Good morning, caller. You're on the air with Steve Wayte. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good. What's your comment, please?
I was calling.
Gotta crank it up. We can't.
At this restaurant, does he have that same issue with African Americans? And then also, on a personal experience, I used to be a server as well, so I understand that the giving the tips is important because this is a person's livelihood. So I don't believe that he was saying it in a racist manner. He was just commenting on what happened that night.
that's correct.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Okay, thank you.
I don't see any trends.
With any other groups, have you noticed this with blacks,
No, it's
Asians,
more
whites?
It's young kids.
Young kids that come in.
Young
so
kids.
You're talking about age groups.
And hey, everybody's different. There's nothing expected. If we give bad service or you get a bad product, it is within your rights to not leave a tip or a gratuity. But it just happened to be that night. It was 4 tables, and it was not that they left a bad tip; they left nothing, and it was what it was that night. Generally, our servers do very, very, very well. We dole out. God, I don't know what it was last week, but it's probably between 3,000 and 3,500 a week, just in gratuities.
And how many waitresses do you have?
Oh, probably right now 7 or 8.
Okay.
But we do tip share with the sushi chef and the staff in the back. Anybody
So you
that
have
is
to
in the
share
line
that
of
all,
service.
it all goes into one pot
It goes into one pot and then we distribute it out
equally.
Not equally. It depends on hours, shifts worked. if you're working the Friday night, your tips are going to be better than if you're working a Tuesday night. So we try to be equitable with everybody, but that is the one part where I do fall into the socialist category a little bit, is when I'm doing my tip sharing with my servers. Generally, I would like to do it on a more individual basis, but to run a restaurant with over 20 employees, you have to have a good team. And the way we have our system set up, we feel like it gives us the best chance to have a good team.
All right, okay, another call here real quick. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air with Steve Wayte. Go ahead and speak up so we can hear you.
Hi, John. Hi, Steve. Unfortunate situation with the Facebook. Unfortunately, in these days, we have to, even on our personal accounts, we have to watch everything we say if we want to avoid backlash. My purpose for calling is because you guys are talking about tips, and I have some pet peeves, or at least one. And I think one caller just addressed it with the fact that I think a tip is something that it's a gratuity when we see that somebody's gone above and beyond simply serving us the meal, because that's the essence of your business. You prepare food and serve it. How you serve it, how fast it's delivered, how good it tastes, how the server treats you. All of that is what factors, at least in my mind, what determines whether they're going to get 15%, 20%, 2%, because of their service, and I think that usually is what drives small business and Americans to do better, is when we have to work for our, making more money. But my biggest tip, my peeve, is that it seems that a lot of restaurants have started a trend. Even a local Mexican restaurant that I visited, I ordered a burrito to go, and they asked me for a tip before I even paid the money, and before I even received the burrito, and it was for wrapping the burrito. But in my mind, isn't that, how could you serve a burrito without wrapping it? That's a basic service. If the burrito's good, if you guys bring it out, maybe I'll leave a tip, or next time I sit down in the restaurant. But typically, I don't think of leaving a tip when I'm ordering something to go, because there's not much service other than delivering the food that they prepared. That's my question and my peeve, and maybe you could talk about it. I've seen a lot of my friends on Facebook complaining about this very same thing, so I know it's kind of not just happening at one restaurant, but it's happening a lot, and I don't know if that's something that the Restaurant Association is saying, hey, there's a new marketing tactic here, you could make some more money, ask for tips before you even serve the food. So that's my peeve, and I'll let you guys talk about it. Thanks.
All right. As we do talk about it, I want to roll the videotape. It's called Tipping. Go ahead and roll that videotape called Tipping, and we'll talk about tips. And traditionally, if you go in and get something to go, and they ask you for a tip before you even get the food, here we're sitting down at your restaurant, these folks here. This is Roll One for Me, your sushi restaurant out there where people, you see the servers here. Now, some of the customers, they'll be leaving a tip. But what about that? If I walk into your restaurant and I want something to go, you can ask me for a tip before I even leave?
Nope. On the bottom of your receipt, if you do pay with a credit card, there will be a suggested amount as far as percentages broke down. But on to-goes, I don't think a tip is expected.
Yeah, what do you think about some of these restaurants that are actually doing that now? Is it as part of a trend, or what?
I have never been asked for a tip. I'll see the tip jar, on the counter sometimes. And like I get some to go in the shopping center we're at. They're restaurants that I frequent, and sometimes I'll throw a couple bucks in when it's a to go, just because I'm in the business and I understand that those people do rely on their tips.
Have you heard about this trend?
I have not.
I have not. Haven't. Okay.
And
is it the proper protocol for restaurants, or do you think?
I think it's a little bit presumptuous to ask before you even have your food delivered.
Yeah.
But I tip my pizza guy. I tip my car wash attendant. We tip our gardeners at the end of the year. We tip our maids, our housemaids. So it's just depends on, like you say, the caller that said, do they go above and beyond what is expected? And unfortunately, like he said, nothing is sacred on Facebook anymore. But I only joined Facebook for my politics and to help organize with the Tea Party movement back in 2009.
Yep.
So I have always been provocative and try to get the reader of my Facebook page to maybe think a little bit and get outside their comfort zone of where their mindset's at. And I think that if we all just sit in our little cocoons, there's no real personal growth from a human standpoint.
Was that part of your, just, you were part of the Tea Party movement, obviously. I mean, it kind of goes without saying. Anybody who follows politics in this town knows that Steve was. Then Steve Brandow kind of took over, right? To a certain extent.
Well, Steve was involved from day one as well.
Yeah, he was involved. But was that part of your mentality and part of your thinking when you made this post?
No, but
hang on, caller.
It wasn't about being a Tea Party guy. It was putting two things together and trying to be provocative and funny. And unfortunately, it blew up in my face.
Yeah.
This wouldn't have happened to Joe Sushi owner. Okay.
Yeah.
The reason I got called out was because Henry Perea and I are on two different sides of the fence.
Two ends of the spectrum.
Yes. And so
you have a dislike for each other.
I don't have a dislike for Henry. I've met him once.
Yeah.
And it was in my restaurant. Actually, at the time, I was in the middle of the lawsuit with the city on the water issue with Doug Vagum.
Yeah.
And Henry sounded like that he supported Doug and I's position on that. He never came out publicly on that. Unfortunately, the city did shove that down the taxpayers' throat, and we will be spending $400 million in infrastructure upgrades. And hopefully when that surface water treatment plant does come online, it doesn't rust out the pipes in southeast Fresno like it's done out in northeast Fresno.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because that's going to come online in, 2019, I think?
I'm not sure when it's going to be completed. I know the first phase has just been, I flew over it the other day.
Because we've talked about it on this program before. We know what's going on in Northeast. It's the mixture of surface water and groundwater that has created part of the problem.
Well, I think part of the problem is that
not knowing how to mix the two.
Yeah, and it's reacting with the galvanized pipe.
Exactly.
I think there's the bigger issue is on the galvanized pipe is that in the early 90s we gave China most favored trade status, and so where did all our pipe come from? It came from China, and I was in the fastener in the construction business prior to being in the restaurant business, and we sold galvanized nails from China. They rusted, so I don't know if that galvanized pipe was maybe not treated properly to what maybe builder specifications would have been. So I'm not going to blame totally the chemistry that's coming out of the surface water treatment plant.
I think part of it. But don't forget, the
it.
homes in southeast Fresno are much older than the homes in northeast Fresno. The piping is older, and so the reaction may be a little different. You don't know.
We will find out.
Have to hold your breath and find out. Caller, I'm going to ask you to wait until after the break. Is that okay? Back in just a moment here on Connect with Me TV Fresno, 436, Me TV option 11. The sponsor today is Sam Suits and Tuxedos. Back in a moment.
There's nothing better than showing up to your next big event in a new suit or tuxedo. Sam's Men's Suits and Tuxedo Shop on Clovis Avenue, just south of Old Town Clovis, has provided a wide selection of custom-tailored fine suits and accessories for over 25 years. Right now, get 2 suits, 2 shirts, 2 ties, and a pair of shoes for only $199. Act now and get a 3rd suit for only $50 more. Stop by or call 559-298-6063 to schedule your fitting today at Sam's Men's Suits and Tuxedo Shop.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Whirlpool appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Touch the new Whirlpool Ice Collection. It offers a modern style made to create an inspiring kitchen experience. Save big on this Whirlpool Black Ice or White Ice kitchen. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Okay, back here on Connect with Me with Steve Wayte. He's been here before, but within the last couple months, I keep forgetting we're almost into June now. This took place in March. I think around March the 10th or 12th or something like that. But here's the deal. We have a phone call here. Caller, I'm going to ask you to speak up so we can hear you loud and clear. You're on the air with Steve Wayte.
Steve, let me ask you a quick question, just 2. Number 1, are there a lot of Hispanics eating in your place? That's number one. Number two is this. When we go out to dinner, we go twice a week in couples like 4 or 5, and we always, we've made it an issue that on tipping that we would put $10 each on the table after we finish eating, because it's great service and we love Chinese food, and I don't want to say the city or anything, but that's what we do. So nobody can tell us, well, you know, they don't tip and all that. But that things like this happen, okay? I don't care if it's Hispanics or Asians or whatever. If you can take it, fine. If you don't come anymore. That's all I can say. Thank you, Steve.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have a large Hispanic population that comes into the restaurant. 20% of my staff is Hispanic.
What did they think about your comment on Facebook?
Well, I've had multiple, I mean, I'm talking more than a dozen female Hispanic women come in the last couple months that said you didn't say anything wrong, you spoke the truth. I actually had another gentleman who owns a restaurant in the same shopping center as us. He's Hispanic, and he was at a local watering hole, which is a national type chain here, and got ignored because he was Hispanic. So that's what I was really trying to prevent. Is I don't want my servers walking up to a table and judging you based on your appearance and giving you any worse service or better service for what you look like. Everybody should be treated the same when they come in the restaurant, and we really pride ourselves on giving superior service from what I understood before getting into this industry, because I'm not a restaurant guy. This was something that was really just a matter of fate as far as me getting into this business. And from what I understand, sushi restaurants are notoriously not good on their service end. Being in Northeast Fresno like we are, with the higher end clientele that we cater to, we wanted to be above and beyond what a normal sushi place would be and give excellent service. So we, generally will have an extra server on compared to what some restaurants might try to get away with.
Do you think maybe you should have clarified on Facebook a little more about what you meant? Because some people maybe took it to heart that it was a racist comment, but that you were just joking, and that you noticed that, hey, these 4 tables, these people didn't tip, and oh, by the way, they appeared to be Hispanic. So did you think about maybe you should have
in hindsight, maybe. I think the wall thing got everybody more pissed off than the Hispanic thing. So, like I said, I don't support a border wall, so it was a joke. But
yeah, that's the way it goes. I mean, social media, you have to be careful.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you know that. I mean, because you shut your Facebook page down, Twitter account down. Hang on, caller.
Well, it was getting vicious. I mean,
in what way?
Oh,
death threats.
Well, not quite death threats, but Yelp shut down our page for almost a month and a half.
You're kidding? Are you back up now?
We're back up now, but
Facebook and Twitter.
Well, Twitter I never took down. I don't really use the Twitter account.
Okay,
I started.
But you got some hits on Twitter. I know that.
Yep.
And also, caller, I'm going to ask you to hang on. There was a woman that kept calling.
Yes.
Almost immediately after, asking questions about whether or not you serve Hispanics. Did you find out who that woman is?
I know who she is.
You know who she is?
We wrote her number down.
Okay. And have you spoken to her?
No, she called, I think, 8 times that night, and the final time she called, she booked a table for 10. And
never showed?
Never showed up.
And you hired security?
I hired the security from the standpoint there was an issue at another sushi restaurant called, I think it's called YOLO, out in Kings Canyon and Clovis.
Okay.
And they had an issue where a group that was hostile to the restaurant came in, and they thrashed the place. And I wasn't going to let that happen to my restaurant. So the tone of the Facebook posts, the tone of the Yelp posts, I was just ensuring that my staff was going to be safe.
Yeah,
and
you
my
were
restaurant
worried. So how many security guards?
Oh, it was just one.
It was just one?
It was just one.
Okay, all right. Caller, you're on the air with Steve. Go ahead and speak up clear, loud and clear, so we can hear you. No. Caller, you got to turn down the sound on your TV, caller, or we have to hang up.
Okay.
Turn down the sound.
Yeah.
Turn down the sound.
Okay. Yes, I have a question. I need to know if the owner Steve is he racist? And if he is, because the last time my friend went to eat to this restaurant, they found a used condom in his drink. Was it purposely, intentionally, or that's what we need to know if he's racist?
Come on. Okay. Thanks, caller. I'll just let you comment. I don't know what to say.
There's nothing to say there. I mean, that's if you want to be triggered and you want to find racism in what I was saying,
Right.
you can find that.
Hey, listen, just a note, footnote to all the callers out there. When you do call in, please turn down the sound on your TV set, because on that last call, if you're still watching on your TV set, caller, the one that just called in, I couldn't hear you. You were listening to your TV and you weren't listening to your telephone. You have to turn down the sound and listen to the telephone, or we'll get all kinds of feedback, and I'll keep saying hello, 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 and then we'll end up hanging up. So 436 MeTV option 11. Turn that TV set down. Turn the mute button on. Let's roll the videotape. Let's go to the customers. I have a piece of tape here called Customers. Let's roll that one. Tell me what this restaurant is all about. There you see the inside of it, obviously. Looks packed there. When do you usually do the most business? When do the most customers usually come in? Is it during the day, at night?
At night. Fridays, both lunches and dinners are very busy. I believe this was on a Wednesday at lunch.
Okay.
I got into the sushi restaurant purely by accident. My oldest daughter was severely disabled, and she had a short bus driver who was Lao, and he came to pick up my daughter 14, 15 years ago. My sister had gone to Bali, Indonesia for a summer, and she came home with a husband. They had a child. They went back to Bali, Indonesia, and they brought back his female cousin to act as their au pair. So my daughter's bus driver came to pick her up, and I asked him if he had a girlfriend, and he said no. I said, man, I've got this cute little gal from Bali. You don't have to date her, but she doesn't know anybody. Here's $100. Take her out. I'd really appreciate it. They got married. And the bus driver's cousin ended up rolling sushi with my brother-in-law. So I was introduced to this whole crowd of guys with a special skill set, and I'm an entrepreneur and a businessman and a marketing guy, and I came up with the name Roll One for me as a joke because I had a commercial building I owned on a busy commercial street here in Fresno, and I was going to do medical marijuana and sushi if I couldn't sell that building. It was a joke, just like the wall joke. And so when my brother-in-law came up to me and asked me if I wanted to get involved in this, I said, I already got the name for the restaurant. And I changed the E in me to an I, and that symbol you see on the windows when we're doing the customer shots, that is the me symbol, and it means beauty or beautiful. And our chefs make a very fine quality, beautiful product. And
now, you know that sushi doesn't really appeal to everybody. It's not for everybody. You realize that. So roll the videotape on the food and drinks. So how have you made this a successful business, or is it successful in your eyes at this point? How many years in business?
We've been in business over 4 years.
Over 4 years now. So is it a success?
Oh, we've done very well.
Considering you're limited on your marketing on this.
We've done very, very well.
Okay.
You know, most restaurants would kill for our slow nights. So we have, like I said, a very good quality product. We do have cooked items as well. So if you come in and you have someone in your group that is not a sushi person, we have fried rice bowls, we have teriyaki chicken, teriyaki beef. There's something for everybody.
So you do have cooked dishes, no question about it. There are some of the dishes right there. What are we looking at?
That is a chicken bento box, and so what you're going to get is you're going to get a 4-piece California roll, a salad, tempura vegetables, and a rice. And you also get miso soup to start the meal off with.
And it's all Japanese food.
All Japanese food.
It's all Japanese. You specialize in Japanese food. Where do you find the people? Because to actually be able to cook and prepare one of these meals, it takes a special kind of knowledge and talent. Where'd you find this group?
Just via networking throughout the industry. My brother-in-law brought in the original staff. out of our original staff, I think we probably have 3 or 4 of our original staff. But over 4 years, you know, we've changed chefs on the sushi bar and in the back of house, and as well as the service staff. Generally, the service staff are students or younger adults. So that's my best. That's my favorite thing about employing people, is watching them grow and watching them, you know, grow as a person and move on in their careers. You know, there's the big guy.
Right, there you are there, and there's one of your staff members.
Yep.
And the secret to success is what?
Good quality product, a great location. The marketing has been my forte. I'm a marketing guy.
Getting the word out.
Getting the word out.
Now, how do you do that?
For us, it was really Facebook for the first 2 years. That's all I did was Facebook marketing. And we've got over almost, I think we're up to almost 6,000 followers on Facebook. So that gets the word out. And we've just got a really good product, and that really gets the word out as well. We're mentioned in the Fresno Bee People's Choice Awards this year. We're in the top 3. We've been nominated by the California Restaurant Association the last 3 years as well for Best in the Valley. So with that recognition, it really does make my staff feel appreciated, and it makes them come out and try to do a better job at a fair price. And
I think you said since the Perea comment or the incident and your post on Facebook, your business has actually skyrocketed or boomed.
It skyrocketed that first week or two. We're back to normal level. Yeah, we're back to normal now.
But are there groups that just come in? Doesn't matter what race, creed, color they are. Are there certain groups that come in and they just? I think you mentioned it before. Maybe the younger generation. They just don't tip. They don't want to tip.
And that's their prerogative. You know, we don't screen you before you come through the door.
Well, it's an option.
It is not mandatory. It is not mandatory. But if you're going to take the one particular table that really got me it was a $125 tab, and
no tip on that.
Nothing.
So what's the norm? Is it 10%? Is it 15%? What is it? Generally speaking,
I guess everyone's gone to 15. To me, it always used to be 10. I don't know why it went up to 15. Maybe it's because we're going up to 15 an hour on the minimum wage.
Yeah, maybe, but it's always been about. So who made it 15%?
I don't know.
The state of California is just kind of determine that? Or
I don't know.
Is it just kind of word of mouth?
I don't know.
A rumor started?
Hey, we'll give 20-25% if we get really good service and really good food.
Well, John Daly recently left the golfer John Daly. He left a huge tip. I don't know if you read that in the paper, but
we had people.
Huge tip.
We had a gentleman come in that week after, and he left a $100 tip on a $100 tab.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But not every. That's the exception.
That server was happy. Yes.
Yeah. All right. 436 Me TV option 11. Steve Wayte is here. He is the owner of Roll One for Me. It's a sushi bar, a sushi restaurant out in Northeast Fresno. If you haven't been there, go check it out. He's been open for business for about 4 years now and does great work out there. And call in. Today's program sponsored by Sam's Suits and Tuxedos. Back in a moment.
When you're looking for Whirlpool, innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, we'll help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
There's nothing better than showing up to your next big event in a new suit or tuxedo. Sam's Men's Suits and Tuxedo Shop on Clovis Avenue, just south of Old Town Clovis, has provided a wide selection of custom-tailored fine suits and accessories for over 25 years. Right now, get 2 suits, 2 shirts, 2 ties, and a pair of shoes for only $199. Act now and get a 3rd suit for only $50 more. Stop by or call 559-298-6063 to schedule your fitting today at Sam's Men's Suits and Tuxedo Shop.
Back here on the program, 436 Me TV option 11. Steve Wayte is here. Let's roll the videotape on the monologue. And so Talking about the business of being in the restaurant business, what's the most difficult part about it? Because it's not an easy life. I mean, you've got employees, you've got overhead, and that's obviously where you're located there in Northeast Fresno. And, there's the sign, Roll One for Me. You've got a liquor license, I guess you have to get right, although you don't serve hard liquor, you serve beer, right?
Beer and wine.
All right. So
Sake.
Sake, all right. And so you've got a little strange story to tell. Go ahead.
Well, back in the day when we first opened up, when you do beer and wine, you have to get a conditional use permit through the city of Fresno.
For alcohol.
For alcohol. Either beer, wine, or hard alcohol. I think it's 2 different CUPs. And at the time, I had missed picking up the existing CUP by 6 months. There was a pizza parlor in that location prior.
Some of the beer that you served there?
That's some of the beer we served there. And the CUP, we were aware there was going to be a CUP. We thought it would be about $4,000 or $5,000. It turned out it was $12,800. And I'd missed picking it up for free by 6 months. And the way the city does their CUPs is that once that license is abandoned, you have a year to pick up the CUP. So I contacted Mayor...
Hang on, caller. Get to you in a moment.
Mayor Brand. At the time, he was Councilman Brand.
Hang on.
And I said, Lee, I missed picking this up by 6 months. I said, $13,000 that's extortion. That's not a permit fee. And I said, Lee, a year is not enough time for somebody to vacate, come in and do your due diligence, do your tenant improvement, and get your doors open. And he said he agreed with me. So we got the law changed to 3 years. That's why you're kind of seeing a little bit of a restaurant renaissance in Fresno right now, is because the CUPs.
They've got the 3-year.
They've got the 3-year window now. Okay. So that's another $13,000 that you can spend on equipment or training or whatever. Employees, whatever. So that was very nice of Lee to be as friendly as he was. And
well, he's a business guy.
He is, and we are going to get more business friendly. And we had some issues also on the CUP on the patio. The prior tenant never did the patio. So that was over $5,000. It was a 20 by 20 patio. So
they cut you loose on the $13,000 then, huh?
I picked it up for free.
Picked it up for free.
I had to wait a little while. I had to do some politicking, but we
you got it done.
We got it done. And
while Ashley was still in office.
Yes.
Okay, caller, turn your TV down. Speak up loudly so we can hear you. What's your question or comment?
Yes, I have a question. If you order food to go, do you have to tip? And that's question number 1. Question number 2 is the owner Steve, is he racist? Because last time I got food to go, my
Okay, that was the same. Yeah, I know. Okay, look, caller, you've already called once, then you called twice. We get it. So please don't call back again with the same comment. He's already answered the question whether or not he's a racist. He said no. I do want to talk more about your business and go out to the exterior video here. So the exterior, that's the other thing is if at least from my point of view, if you haven't heard of a restaurant and you're just driving by, by nature, the appeal of what it looks like outside can draw a person in or it can drive them away. All right, this is the shopping center where you're basically located here in Northeast Fresno. So from your point of view, was the exterior as important as the interior?
The location was as important. The landlord at the time wanted us to be in a different location, and we really fought hard to get that location where we're at because of what you're looking at there. Is that?
But I'm talking about the ambiance and the appearance outside. Was that a main concern for you? Because, people don't show up at your restaurant just because they've heard. There are a lot of people that show up because they're driving by and are looking for a place to eat, and doggone, that place looks good on the outside. Let's stop and eat. Or it could go the other way. They could say, that place doesn't look too hot. Let's just keep going.
Well, and that's why we spent the money we did to make our patio as nice as it is. We have wicker lounge furniture
with the outside.
With the outside.
Sign. Okay.
And again, having that back patio, we're into that time of year where that patio really helps drive business, because you can hardly drive by, and if there's 2 or 3 couples sitting on that patio, you're going to recognize that when you drive by. You might not recognize the sign, but you're going to recognize the patrons on the patio enjoying themselves.
Right. Okay, let's take a quick call here. Caller, you're on the air with Steve Wayte. Go ahead. What's your question or comment? Speak up, too, and turn your TV down, please.
Okay, well, I know this is going to sound a little racist, but it's true because I've been taught it all my life. We as Mexicans, Hispanics, whatever you want to call us, we are notoriously cheap when it comes to tipping because I was always taught, why tip so much? You can use that money for something else. So for that, I understand. And I understand the server's frustration at the same time, and the comment got misconstrued, but, it is true. But at the same time, it's part of what we're taught when as soon as we're little, why tip so big, but like I said, I can understand the server's frustration. So I just think, everybody should just relax and let it die and let the food speak for itself.
I agree.
Right. So are you Hispanic, sir? Is that it?
Yeah. Like I said, I worked in the food industry, and I also was taught that, you don't leave a big tip because they already work for a wage, so why give them more money? So it's just like,
I
okay.
understand.
But then, like I said, I've been on the other side too, where, you work all these hours and you serve a lot of people, you expect at least a decent tip.
But,
and, sometimes people don't even tip you.
Yeah, but let me ask you, caller, do you think that that holds true along racial lines, or do you think there are certain groups that are just...
And I hate to say this, but how drunk the person is, or,
yeah.
because when they get tipsy, they lose that wallet gets loose. And,
right.
Sometimes it depends if they have if they make a mess or something, they feel bad, so they'll tip a little more, but...
So you agree that other ethnic groups, I mean, whites, blacks, Asians, they all have their certain people within those groups. Everybody does, where they're just very frugal. They don't want to leave a large tip. It holds true across the board. Am I right?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, every race does that. I mean, you just don't like to say it, but it's just because whoever made that comment, of course, it got racial because you named a certain one particular group and.
Right.
They all attack.
And obviously in his Facebook post he mentioned the wall. So when you mention the wall that Trump wants to build, it becomes a racial comment.
Well, at the time you got to remember it was the year of the election. So, you say anything about the wall, any minorities, and they're all going to attack because they're all frustrated already. So.
Right.
And I just say, what? Let's just let all that BS die down and just. Let the food speak for itself, and if it's good, you go back. If it's not, then you have to let the people know, the food's not good.
And if the food is good, if the food is good, the service is good, you can leave a tip or not.
Yeah, why not? I mean, if they're doing a good job and the food's good and you really enjoy it, then you reward them as the way you see fit. I mean, everybody's, 12%, 50%, 20%, whatever the guideline is. No, I say you base it on what you think it is.
I agree.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for the call. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Have a good day. All right. So a good call there. Let's. Do you have to go to break here real quick or no? Let's go to one more quick break here before we end the program. 436-MeTV option 11. We do have an open phone line. Steve Wayte is here, the owner of Roll One for Me sushi restaurant out in Northeast Fresno. Back in just a moment after this from Sam's Suits and Tuxedos.
That's a good call.
Nothing better than showing up to your next big event in a new suit or tuxedo. Sam's Men's Suits and Tuxedo Shop on Clovis Avenue, just south of Old Town Clovis, has provided a wide selection of custom-tailored fine suits and accessories for over 25 years. Right now, get 2 suits, 2 shirts, 2 ties, and a pair of shoes for only $199. Act now and get a third suit for only $50 more. Stop by or call 559-298-6063 to schedule your fitting today at Sam's Men's Suits and Tuxedo Shop.
Hey, if nothing else, Steve, you got to admit this brings up an open conversation about race, right?
And tipping.
And tipping.
Yeah.
And business.
we should all be having open conversations. That's, like I say, it's a free country. Let's enjoy it while we still have it.
But sometimes when you do have an open conversation, and even when you're got to be careful not to crack a joke that's going to insult someone, they'll take it the wrong way. They did on Facebook. Then you're under attack. Then you're on the defense. And then what do? Well, you experienced it, by the way.
I experienced it. And, you know, I did what I needed to do. I apologized to anybody that was offended. I wasn't meant to be offensive. It was meant to be funny. I can see in hindsight how some people may have been offended. You know, having a disabled child, I've been offended with some local personalities here. There's one local personality who used to celebrate Helen Keller's birthday. And
wow.
I got a little uptight over that, and so I understand you know, being offended when something is close to your heart.
All right, caller, go ahead. You're on the air with Steve Wayte. Go ahead and speak up, please.
Yeah, I feel so bad for you, Steve. I know you're a good man. I hear a lot of good things about you. I know you're not a mean person, and where we're at with this political correct stuff is so jacked up. But let's put it into perspective too. You go to a drive-in theater. We were raised in the drive-in theater era. Now you go to the walk-in theater. Old dinosaurs like us, if you stand out, you know, like a free soul, they're going to hammer you in there. So it's just like, hey, if you want to criticize them for being crappy tippers and that's the temperature that your workers are doing, you know what? I'll support your workers. I don't care. I'll support you because you know what? There is something to it, and I can tell you this much myself. I built things for a living. You know, why is it worth a lot more to an American than, say, somebody who's undocumented? It's worth nothing to them. But the undocumented wants it, but they're not willing to pay me to get it.
Okay.
And they're willing to get it on the underside, which is really ugly.
All
but
right.
These guys that are working for you, Steve, I know they're hard workers.
Got it.
I know your moral compass is good, and I appreciate you coming out there and sticking your neck out.
Thank you. Thanks for the call. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, thanks for you know, the support. We got a lot of support. I've got a couple nasty comments, but like I said, it really hasn't affected business. It's almost God, how do I say this? It's sad to be recognized.
It opened your eyes.
Yeah, well, it's sad to be recognized in public, and that's what they recognize you for, is because supposedly you're a racist. And you know, that I'm a big boy, I can handle it. I was really sorry.
Did you wake
my
up in the
family.
morning saying, "Oh my God, I should have known better than that"? Why did I make that comment?
No, what happened is on Saturday, there was a little pub run out at River Park, which was all the early '80s Memorial, Bullard, Fresno High guys. And I had to work Saturday night, so I didn't go out drinking hard with them, but I went and had a couple beers at a couple places. And my friend from high school, Ernie Garcia, goes, "Steve, are you seeing what's going on Facebook right now?" I go, "What? What's going on Facebook?" He goes, "Man, this stuff's starting to blow up." At that point, I guess it was starting to go viral. So my
made
wife,
national news, I believe.
I had Fox News contact me.
News, yeah.
Fox News contacted me, and they wanted to interview me on national Fox News, and I declined. I'm not here to get in the middle of a racial debate. It was a joke. Like I said, I think there's some teachable moments here. You know, maybe Henry and I should go have a beer summit someplace.
Yeah, over at your restaurant.
Yeah, well, maybe. I don't think Henry's going to be coming in anytime soon. But I think it was good to talk about the courtesy of tipping, etiquette of tipping, and taxation, because taxation is theft.
Yeah.
And
hang on, caller.
Again, I don't know how it is that I can gift somebody money and have that be not taxable, but you can't leave a $10 bill on a table for a server, and the government still wants their cut of it.
Yet, if I give you 10 grand, it's not taxable.
It's not taxable.
No. Kerry, roll the videotape on the counter. I haven't seen that one yet. Inside the Roll One for Me restaurant out of Northeast Fresno. There's the counter right there. And hey, we got a caller on the line at the same time. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead and speak up as loud as you can there so we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, good morning. Just one comment. How come it seems like only white folk are ever accused of being racist? Thank you.
Well, I agree with you. What was hilarious to me is I wasn't going to even address this issue, but it got so out of hand. Yeah. I had Univision calling me, and I've done a lot of media.
Local or or national local Univision? They did. And what did you tell them?
Well, I said, okay, guys. Once they wanted to talk, I went ahead and held a press conference, and I said, hey guys, I'm not going to do personal interviews because I've watched you guys over the years edit my comments to where it doesn't even sound like the same comment.
Not edited.
This is live. This is live.
Live. We can't edit this program.
But so I went ahead and called called all the radio stations, news stations, and had them all come out at once. I said, I'm going to read a brief statement, I'll take some questions, and I'm going to be done with this issue. What was so ironic to me is what was the nationality of every reporter that got sent out to Roll One for me on that Sunday afternoon?
I don't know.
They were all Hispanic.
Okay.
So why is it that our media promotes this? I mean, they almost promote this division and this hatred amongst each other, because if it's an African American, they send an African American out there to cover the story. It's ridiculous, and it perpetuates this divide and conquer tactic that they're using on us right now. And like I said, I'm an individualist. I don't care what color, creed, who you sleep with, who you pray to. I don't care. Are you a good person? I judge you by the content of your character
and your heart. Okay. Let's roll a videotape on kitchen. Let's go inside the kitchen. Let me change topics here just a little bit. We're going to go in the kitchen here.
Okay.
It also takes an enormous amount of maintenance here to keep a good kitchen. It takes a lot of money. You have to prep everything, clean everything daily. You're under inspection by the health department constantly. Here's the thing I got to ask you though. Fresno, is it as business friendly as it should be? I've done, in the 5 years I've been doing this show, I've had numerous complaints and guests that have come on that have said the red tape you've got to go through it in Fresno at City Hall to open a business.
It's tough.
Just to open a business, you have a better chance of jumping off into the Grand Canyon and surviving than you do being a business owner.
I don't know if it's that tough, but it is tough. If you want to find out how much government is interfering in our lives, go try to open up a restaurant. There is
now that Brand is mayor, is it less interference?
I don't know, because I haven't tried to open one yet under Lee.
Right.
But I know that Lee was instrumental in helping me get through some of the red tape and change some laws to make this a more business-friendly city.
Yeah. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead. We've got how much time left in the program? Like a minute and a half, so it's going to have to be very quickly. Go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say, it's not only the white owners that are being racist. I mean, you got Hispanics and the blacks that, in their own culture, get people saying, hey, well, you're racist against your own kind. So it's just whoever's having a bad day just wants to throw racism in the system.
Okay. All right.
Don't make a big deal about it. If the food's good, the food.
Okay, thank you. We got to go because we're short on time here.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I agree too. So that's your case. So, getting back to the question I had, it is getting better in Fresno.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yes.
From business people you talk to.
I think so.
Let's say you wanted to expand. Now you've got to go through more red tape.
And more permitting processes, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm more of a free market guy that, hey, let me
hang on, caller.
Be my own
How much time?
Person.
Oh, caller, we don't have time. We're out of time with Steve, so going to have to call back tomorrow. I apologize. Okay, thank you. Steve, we got like 30 seconds. I got to go, or we're going to get cut off.
Great hour.
I appreciate your time and your candor, your honesty, and your approach. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thanks
John.
for coming on.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Come back again, would you?
Anytime.
And I'll try out that
We'll do some politics next time.
I'll do some politics next time. I'm not a sushi guy, but I'm going to try your restaurant.
Come on
anyway. All right. Back here tomorrow with Jack Scow. We're going to lift some weights and see what we can do about that muscle mass. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.
Nothing better than showing up to your next big event in a new suit or tuxedo. Sam's Men's Suits and Tuxedo Shop on Clovis Avenue, just south of Old Town Clovis, has provided a wide selection of custom-tailored fine suits and accessories for over 25 years. Right now, get 2 suits, 2 shirts, 2 ties, and a pair of shoes for only $1.99. Act now and get a third suit for only $50 more. Stop by or call 559-298-6063 to schedule your fitting today at Sam's Men's Suits and Tuxedo Shop.
If you have a need to promote your business or event, please consider MeTV Fresno for your next campaign. MeTV reaches over 100,000 of your potential customers in the Fresno area every single week. Plus, you can rest assured that your commercial is running in the greatest family-friendly programs of all.